Okay, so if you're new to my channel, if you've only joined in the last few weeks or so, I mean, I know I've had a lot of subscribers since the last time I did something kind of like this, so normally when I go into the big geek material, the comic books, a few other things here and there, anything sort of superhero related, or even something like, say, Star Wars, I'm going to give my overall thoughts on the film. There's going to be a break, and then there's going to be a really big spoiler section. So I'm probably going to, which I will probably cover just about the entire movie. I'll try not to, but I can't say for certain. But like I said, I'm going to give my overall thoughts. There'll be a break. Big spoiler section. Then there'll be a break, and there'll be the trailers. Okay? You'll know when the breaks are. It's the commercials. You know what to do. Okay? Are we good? All right. So, is Rise of Skywalker, I almost called it The Last Jedi there, sorry. Is Rise of Skywalker as bad as a lot of the critics are saying? Not really. It is better than, like I said, it's better. That being said, there are some really glaring flaws. Unfortunately, again, Mr. Abrams just decided to remake a Star Wars film rather than try to do something new and somewhat original with it. In fact, there are scenes straight out of The Last Jedi that he apes. He is blatantly bad in that aspect, unfortunately. I think the Simpsons quote from Grandpa versus Sexual Inadequacy falls right into this category. The only thing worse than your half-assed under-parenting is your half-assed over-parenting. This is a lot of it's the backtracking to try to appease the Star Wars fans who were cheesed off at Last Jedi. It's there. It's not as bad as a lot of critics are saying, but it is there. And it is upsetting. Thankfully, a lot of the twists that I've heard some people think were going to happen didn't, but I'm not going to get too much more into that until the spoiler section. So, overall, I am going to be giving, again, I keep wanting to call this Last Jedi, it's not that, it's Star Wars Rise of Skywalker, a C. It's not spectacular, but it's not horribly horrendous either. It's just fine. It's not going to change the world. It'll still make a lot of money.
Oh, Star Wars. It's great in the arcade. Whoa! TIE fighters! Fireballs! Coming right at me! Watch the laser towers. Aim for the tops. Pick on the cannons. Use the force. They're coming too fast! It's late! It's late! My shields are gone! Alright! I'm going in!
Oh, some game, huh?
Some game!
In a galaxy of video games, there is only one. Star Wars, the arcade.
Okay, again, this is the spoiler section. There's going to be a lot of really big spoilers here, so this is your last warning. Okay? If you want to, skip ahead to the next commercial break and then you'll get the trailers bit. Okay? So, 5, 4, 3. Okay, so, we're in spoiler section now. Starting things off, Palpatine is alive. That's the first bit of the crawl. They basically say, both the First Order and the Resistance got this audio message from Palpatine, or Palpatine's voice. Now they're like, what's going on? How could this be? And Kylo Ren is off to try to find something to figure out what's going on, and he does find what is a Sith Wayfinder. He finds it, he's tracking Palpatine, he tracks down this location, and he hears it's where Palpatine is, it's on, and this is where things get kind of confusing, because they call this planet like 16 different names. Like sometimes it's Hexagol, Exegol, Exego, Exacore, Hexacore. You're starting to get the problem. So yeah, you're going to hear me use like 40 different pronunciations for this. I don't know what they called it. But it's the home planet of the Sith. It's the Sith homeworld. And Palpatine he's burned up badly because all the lightning reflected back into his face too. So yeah, he's gone blind basically, and he's kind of sort of not entirely there. He's being kept alive by a lot of machines and fluid. He confesses to basically creating Snoke out of the Force. out of the dark side of the Force. And he says, because I need you to kill Rey for a certain reason. I will get to that reason later. But as this is happening, it turns out there is a mole, a leak in the First Order, and they are, and he starts relaying messages to the Resistance. And this is where that chase scene from the Return of the Jedi happens. It is straight from the Death Star trench run in Return of the Jedi, where there's like this piece. It's like you wonder if, the Falcon's going to hit it and lose this deflector disc again. So yeah, again, it's like that's really blatant. But it's Finn, 3PO. Rey is not in this. She's continuing with her training under Leia, who's trying to help her guide through this. And if basically they find out, like, yes, Palpatine's alive. He is creating the final order. He's able to reinvigorate the Empire, basically. And he's able to give them even better weapons, weapons that are capable of destroying planets. These are stronger star systems. He says this is, and again, Kylo Ren does not become his apprentice officially. He's basically like, I need you to use this, and you're going to rule, and everything will be great. And you're going to rule alongside Rey. She will be with you in a unique way, which I will get to. And that's where that's going on. And this is not helped by the fact that he and Rey can still kind of connect via the Force. They can even connect physically. Like, things in one planet can actually transfer fully to where the other person is standing. At one point, she is wearing a necklace, and he rips it off of her, and he's in possession of it. And they can... So, yes, they set about trying to track down where the Resistance is located. Like, everything is basically in tatters now, because no one came to help them on Crate. Like, they're really kind of they're really down to their bare bones here. They're fighting, but it's still not looking good. They need something to really turn their tide in battle. And like I said, Rey is also having these visions. She's seeing herself kind of go to the dark side and standing next to Kylo Ren on a dark throne. And again, it's like she's also trying desperately to, via meditation, to connect to all the Jedi previously, the Force ghosts and everything. And it's, again, she's still kind of struggling, like, fighting, combat-wise, she's okay, but other than that, like, she still hasn't quite gotten everything through yet. Though she has learned that she can use the Force to heal wounds, too, because she does that at another point. Because they start piecing, she finds in the ancient Jedi texts talk of the Sith Wayfinder, and then they go out to try to set out another one. And that actually leads them to reunite with Lando. And it is kind of funny because, again, straight out of Return of the Jedi, Lando is in some type of mask, he's in a desert, he's on a desert planet, and there's actually a kind of funny scene where Lando reveals himself, and C-3PO introduces them, and like, yeah, we know who Lando is. And they kind of talk for a bit. And again, he actually, also at a later point, I will say this, Billy D. Williams does make a Colt 45 reference, so, okay, so at least you got that going for you. Anyway, but again, this is where the Knights of Ren, in particular, you see all the Knights of Ren, you actually see them in action quite a bit, and basically there's now an alliance between the First Order and the Sith fully. There's some people who aren't entirely with it, but they're dealt with rather quickly, and like I said, they're working together, they're creating the final order, and basically the Jedi have, I think it's 16 days, well, the Resistance has 16 days to, 16 days to figure out where the Sith are going to locate, because if not, there's going to be this big attack, and the Empire will be reborn, basically. And they're going to just mow through everything, because they now have outfitted Star Destroyers with basically the Star Killer cannon. So a Star Destroyer can take out a planet. And eventually, like I said, again, Rey and Kylo have confronted each other several times through this, and they find this dagger that has the inscriptions to where they can find another wayfinder, and it's on this ship, and the dagger, too, Rey sort of recognizes them from her memories, and 3PO can translate it, but since it's an ancient Sith, he can't actually reveal the translation because it's a forbidden language. So they basically have to do this thing where they have to like partially mind wipe 3PO so he can get to the point where he can violate his programming. Unfortunately, that will result in a total mind wipe. So that's where you get that sort of mournful scene where 3PO talks about taking one last look at his friends. It doesn't matter though, because as soon as he's reunited with R2, it turns out R2 backed everything up. Everything up to the point where 3PO leaves, because Finn, Poe, 3PO, Chewbacca, BB-8, and Rey all leave to go find this Wavefinder. I keep wanting to call it a Waverider. That's not what it is. The second Wavefinder, so they can track down Sith Homeworld, whose name I can never remember. But yeah, and again, there's another confrontation between, as they're doing this, there's another confrontation between Rey and Kylo, and I forget too. There's another scene because they have to get on. I know I'm all over the map right now. Sorry, but I forgot this point. At one point, Chewbacca gets taken hostage, and the First Order, I'm just going to call them the First Order, gets possession of the dagger, but they can't. And Rey tries to stop them. She tries to force stop the ship from leaving, and she's concentrating, and basically Kylo kind of goads her into using even more of her powers and more of her powers, that she fires force lightning at it, and it destroys the ship. But it turns out that this was all a decoy, that they had actually taken Chewbacca onto the Millennium Falcon because they had gotten in possession of that in the process. And Chewbacca is alive, and they figure out Chewbacca's alive, and so they have to try to break onto Kylo Ren's new big Star Destroyer, which is basically like Vader's executor ship. And as this is happening, Kylo Ren is back down on their planets, on this planet that they were on, trying to, for lack of a better term, hack C-3PO. And he's looking, but he manages to force contact Rey again, and they're talking, and he says, "No, you don't understand. Yes, your parents sold you into slavery, but they did it for a reason. They did it to protect you. I know everything. You are Palpatine's granddaughter." So, and this does maintain through the rest of the movie. I will say that now, that this does maintain through the rest of the movie. There's no other curves. They didn't say Palpatine force wielded her into existence. She's not the long-lost twin sister of Ben Solo, aka Kylo Ren. So we've got that going for it. They didn't do that again, thankfully. But yes, Rey is Darth Sidious's, Emperor Palpatine's granddaughter. And her parents were not junk dealers. They were basically trying to flee because they didn't want Rey to become a Sith. Neither of them wanted to become a Sith Lord. So, yeah, they're literally trying to break the family line. And they sold her into slavery to protect her from this Force Hunter that's where the dagger came from. And the Force Hunter killed Rey's parents, but basically at Palpatine's behest. And so, yeah. And that's why she's having these kind of dreams about being on the dark side of the Force and ruling alongside Kylo Ren. And Kylo even says, "Look, I don't like Palpatine either. We have to take him down because I'm not exactly all..." Remember, at the end of Last Jedi, he's not on the dark side of the Force as much either. Like, he's still basically on the dark side. Like, he's in for himself. But he's not... But again, he doesn't want to be the slave to dogma anymore. Whether it's the Jedi or the Sith. He is like, we need to be beyond that. We need to work together to take him down. But, again, Rey is incensed by this revelation of her lineage, and that she's just... And every time Kylo is near her, she gets angrier and angrier, and so she's actually getting more and more into the dark side of the Force. In fact, when they actually do manage to locate this spot of where the second I keep wanting to call it Wave Finder. I keep wanting to call it a Wave Rider. I don't know why. Where the second Wave Finder is, which is on Endor, which is why you see the wreckage of the other the other Death Star from Return of the Jedi. Again, she finds it, and she's greeted by basically her Sith side, who says, "You've done everything you could ever have dreamed of." And again, this leads to another confrontation with Kylo Ren, and basically, as this is happening, like, Leia senses something, and she realizes she can stop this. And basically, she realizes that, she uses her remaining Force power to project and just catch Kylo off. She reaches, not Kylo Ren, but she reaches Ben Solo. And it's enough. I mean, it's a lot like Last Jedi. Luke force projected so much that it just overwhelmed him and he died. And so Leia also dies. And like I said, it catches Kylo Ren off guard just enough that Rey stabs him with the lightsaber, with his own lightsaber in the process. Yeah, and she realizes, oh no, this is what Palpatine wants. He wants me to be angry. Again, he wants me to go to the dark side. Like, she's giving into her anger, and so she actually apologizes, and she force heals him enough to have him recover. And she leaves. And as this is also happening, like I said, on Endor, it turns out there is a tribe of ex-stormtroopers who deserted the First Order. So they're like Finn. Like, they broke their DNA programming and went off on their own. So it's kind of a cool thing. They see it set there, but I'll get into where that's also a bit of a problem. Anyway, Rey gets uses the Wavefinder to track down where Sith homeworld is, where it turns out, again, they're amassing this giant armada. Palpatine's going to relay all of this, use this relay to use the Force to help elevate all of these ships, because they can't all leave the planet at once. It would actually be too much. It would create too much propulsion or something like they can't all leave at once. They have to use this energy relay to do so, and they have to do it very slowly. So Rey, but again, because Rey gave into the dark side again and almost killed Kylo, she basically leaves. She goes to the planet that Luke was on, and she destroys Kylo's ship, because that's the ship she took. And she's about to destroy the lightsaber when Luke's Force Ghost appears. And he goes, "What are you doing? Like, yes, you gave into your anger, but that's okay. Like, he sort of realized again that giving up was not the way to do it. He realizes his error from Last Jedi, basically. And he said, look, you can be like the Jedi, but you don't need to be 100% like the Jedi. But you don't need to be 100%. It's not, a black and white scenario. It's a gray situation. You need to do the right thing. Like, the Jedi live on in you, yes. And he basically reveals that he and Leia both knew that she was Palpatine's granddaughter, and they don't care because they knew she was good. That, again, it's not your lineage, it's what you do with your... It's not the power in your family, it's what you do with the power in your family. And, use this for good. And so she relays it to the Resistance, and they mount one final attack to try to stop this invasion before it really starts. And they manage to enlist Lando to help try to hopefully unite more people. And yeah, shock, it pays off. Okay, so eventually, and as this is happening, Kylo Ren is visited by Han Solo, the ghost of Han Solo, and he says, Kylo Ren is dead, Ben Solo's alive, because this is, Ben Solo brought me here. And it basically, Kylo renounces the First Order. He goes back to Sith homeworld, whose name I can't remember. Seriously. And he gets there, and basically what Palpatine wants Rey to do is he says, you don't understand, I don't want to kill you. I want you to kill me and take your rightful place as the new emperor or empress. Exactly. This was all for you. Exactly. Like, this is your destiny. And he shows her again the fleet, which is this time, he's managed. The fleet is struggling. It doesn't look like there's going to be any help. There again, she starts to get in, but then it's right then that Kylo arrives. And what they actually do is they take Luke's lightsaber and they actually like force switch it between them. And it also turns out that on this planet, Luke gifted. We get an explanation as to why Leia abandoned her Jedi training, which is while she was about to become a full Jedi, she saw something involving her son, the death of her son, and involving her lightsaber, and but she was not the one wielding it. So she goes, I need to give this up so that it can be used to take down the next threat. So, yeah, like, again, Leia is dead at this point too, so yeah. Okay, where am I? Basically, they take down the Knights of Ren, they take down everyone else, but then they refuse to take down Palpatine. But Palpatine basically says, well, I don't need that, because you two are together, and because, yeah, you're this, like, fixed point, you two are both this weird, like, fixed point in the Force. So I can, you're this power that flows from both of you, and it's not easy, it's easy to really tap into, and he basically absorbs a big chunk of their Force power and rejuvenates himself, and he starts using Force lightning to help elevate the ships even faster and get them ready. And again, now the Republic is really in trouble, and that's when I keep wanting to call them the Republic, sorry, the Resistance is really in trouble, and that's when Lando arrives with all his troops. But again, it's not looking too good. But Palpatine, the rejuvenated Palpatine then flings Ben Solo over a cliff, and he starts getting ready to blast Rey, and she gets her lightsaber, but then she pulls out Leia's lightsaber, and she blocks it, and it basically redirects the Force lightning back into him. So again, much like Episode 3, except, if Anakin had actually helped Mace Windu, basically it overwhelms Palpatine, and he crumbles to dust, and the Sith is no more. And all the ships crash across the galaxy for some reason. I guess they were all on Sith power. And the day is saved, but it's overwhelmed Rey, and she collapses and dies. But Ben gets to her, uses his Force energy to rejuvenate her, but in the process he kills himself. Though they do kiss, so I guess that means Jenny Nicholson got her bingo. And then afterwards, after all the celebration, Rey goes to Tatooine, to the Lars farm. She buries Luke and Leia's lightsabers, and there this sort of hermit sees her and says, what's going on? No one's been here in a long time. Who are you? And she says, I'm Rey Skywalker. And that's how it ends. So, yeah. Like I said, good points in the story. I know you've gone through a lot of this. If you have sat through this whole spoiler section, I apologize. I know it's really kind of boring, what I did here, so thank you for bearing with me. But here's where I'm going to point out some of the flaws that involve spoilers. There are plot threads in this that go nowhere. Early on, there's a point where Finn and Rey and all the others are in a death trap, and Finn wants to confess something to Rey. It's never brought up again. Goes nowhere. They hint that Finn is Force sensitive. Goes nowhere. It is cool to see, like other former First Order troopers like Finn who have deserted and are now fighting against the First Order. So, but again, they don't really do much. We never exactly got why Lupita Nyong'o's character, whose name I never remember, is Force sensitive. But again, when Leia is getting ready to basically Force project to reach Kylo Ren, Ben Solo, she says, Leia knows that this will be the last thing she will do. And it's like, okay. Like, why are you here? Like, you are the big plot exposition in this, aren't you? Like I said, again, the final attack is basically the final attack, is the attack on the second Death Star. Again, there's way too much remakey stuff. Like I said before, there's the chase scene that is straight out of the trench run of the from Return of the Jedi. They go to desert planets. When Lando's revealed, he's wearing a mask kind of similar to the one he wore in Return of the Jedi at the beginning. Yeah, just kind of not quite. It's like, you're trying too hard. Stop. You could have just told this story. Like, if you take out all the stuff that's, if you just leave that final battle, this would probably be a movie 10 times better than it was. Like I said, it's not bad. It's not horrendous. It's plain down the middle. That's why I gave it the C. It's just average. It's not spectacular. It's not going to shape your world. If you liked The Last Jedi, you're probably going to be disappointed. And if you didn't like The Last Jedi, you might also wind up disappointed. That's about all I can really say. So, again, thank you for bearing through me on this big spoiler section. I know it's big, and I know I pretty much blabbed the whole movie. Like I said, I was. So, again, sorry. I did warn you on several occasions, so... Alright, let's pause and go into the trailers.
Star Wars, The Empire Strikes Back. And Burger King comes through again with our all-new Empire Strikes Back glasses. Collect a different glass for your family each week. Darth Vader, R2-D2 and C-3PO, Lando Calrissian, Luke Skywalker.
Buy a regular-sized Coca-Cola at a special price and build your collection.
All new, The Empire Strikes Back glasses, only at Burger King.
Okay, trailer time, and we got a lot of trailers, and 3 of them were new, so at least we got that going for us, I guess. First off, we had Doolittle again, My Spy again, No Time to Die again, Bad Boys for Life again, Free Guy again, and then we got A Quiet Place 2. We just got the little 30-second thing that they've been putting up on YouTube. Then we got Christopher Nolan's new film, Tenet. It looked really interesting. Definitely looked very trippy, kind of in that Inception mold. So, can't really explain the plot very well, but I hope that it helps. We got Onward again. Then we got Black Widow. That's our last new trailer. And then we got Mulan. So, yeah, that was everything. Like I said, a lot of trailers. So, obviously this will be the last film up before Christmas. So, Merry Christmas. Have a safe and happy holiday there. The next movie review is going to be Spies in Disguise. And then after that will be the random trade review on Flash, Blood Will Run. See you all next time. Hey guys, check out my Patreon and see how you can request a movie for me to review, even if it's some stinker like A Dog's Way Home or the Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Also, if you like what you see, give the video a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget to ring that notification bell.